I wanted to talk with you a little about our partnerships and committees that your city council members and I participate in. I thought it would be interesting to tell you about some of those things and how they have benefited Auburn. I will start with the organizations or entities closest to us and work my way out to our federal delegations. First, right here in Auburn, we maintain close communication and partnerships with the Auburn School District, the Auburn Area Chamber of Commerce, the Auburn Downtown Association, our hospitals, businesses, nonprofit agencies, churches, trade organizations, homeowners associations, neighborhood groups, and most importantly, you. I speak to this first because it is the most important. We must make sure that we have strong partnerships within Auburn before working outside our city limits. Another important close friend to Auburn is the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe. We share our city with each other, and what I know to be true for us both is that we want to live in a vibrant and safe place. We meet often with our counterparts on the reservation, and I can tell you that the Tribal Council has every intention of working closely with us as we do with them. As an example, several years ago, the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe wanted to increase safety on the reservation. Our police chief had been having regular meetings with tribal representation, and together they were able to work out a plan to dedicate an Auburn police officer. And coming up this summer, you're going to see a lot of work on Auburn Way South up on the hill. These are big, expensive, and much-needed projects on this road, and none of it would be possible without the help of our tribal partners. Now, moving a little further out, are regional associations. Auburn is not an island, and therefore we must make sure that we understand that our city is part of a larger region and make sure that we are known and we know our neighbors. One organization that does that better than any is Sound Cities Association. The motto of SCA is 36 cities, 1 million people, one voice. What that means is that the smaller cities of King County, like Tukwila, Shoreline, Algona, and larger cities like Renton, Kent, and us, all work together on our regional issues. We work with each other and fight for each other. SCA also gives us the ability to compete on the same level as Seattle. We must come together as one, and we have. Through SCA, we have been able to work towards collective transportation initiatives from the completion of Highway 167 to better roads and better transit options. And when we needed support and assistance to put together a funding alliance to save our King County Public Health Clinic, having SCA behind us was instrumental in helping us keep Auburn's clinic open. I am currently the Vice President of the SCA Board of Directors, and I look forward to helping further our regional efforts. On a larger regional stage is the Puget Sound Regional Council. PSRC represents central Puget Sound counties, King, Pierce, Snohomish, and Kitsap, to develop policies and make decisions about regional issues. Our membership with PSRC enabled Auburn to receive federal funds for our recently completed M Street Underpass project, a project that took over 20 years to fund, and last year we were able to award over $6.8 million in funding that will allow us to complete 5 major road projects over the next 2 years. We could not come by this money otherwise, because a key role of PSRC is to help communities secure federal funding for transportation. PSRC selects projects to receive over $240 million in transportation funding each year, and I want to make sure that Auburn gets its fair share of that money. Auburn is a part of both King and Pierce counties. Several years ago, the mayors of Auburn, Renton, Kent, Tukwila, Sumner, Algona, Pacific, and Puyallup formed the Valley Cities Association. This is a similar coalition like Sound Cities Association, but a bit smaller. Back in 2010, for example, the Valley Cities Association jointly applied for and received a $3 million federal grant to construct a fiber and wireless broadband network to streamline communications through the Valley cities to provide better communications in a mutual aid or disaster response situation. Again, working together with our neighbors was the key. And of course, the biggest region we are a part of is the state of Washington, and our most important voice to our representatives in Olympia is the Association of Washington Cities. AWC represents Washington cities and towns before the state legislature and other agencies. All 281 Washington cities are members of AWC. Beyond the representation, AWC provides important business functions for us. It is one training for elected officials and staff. There is much to learn when you work in government: legal issues, budget management, and other things specific to our work. AWC offers free or very inexpensive training, and we take full advantage of these resources. I want to ensure you that you have the best officials and employees working for you. AWC is also our benefits trust. We all know how expensive medical benefits can be. Being an AWC Benefits Trust member gives us the power of a large purchasing collective in order to get the most competitive prices and experts to manage our benefit programs and claims. In Auburn, our employees have earned Auburn an AWC Well City Award for the last 3 years. This award isn't just a certificate for our wall. AWC Well Cities earn a 2% discount on insurance premiums, which saves Auburn about $85,000 a year. And lastly, we must ensure that our federal representatives know who we are and know what we need. They need to hear from you, and they need to work with me and the rest of the state to make sure our interests are well represented. There is a lot that goes on in Washington, D.C., and we need to make sure we're on top of those things. We do that primarily through 3 important organizations: the National Community Development Association, the United States Conference of Mayors, and the National League of Cities. I know that Auburn has a big heart. We are givers here. We make sure our most vulnerable are protected, fed, and housed when at all possible. While we have wonderful nonprofits here that are helping, as a city, we're able to use federal funding through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and Community Development Block Grants. Auburn is able to administer just over $1 million each year to those most in need because of our membership and participation in the National Community Development Association. This allows us to financially support some of our wonderful nonprofits like the Auburn Food Bank, Auburn Youth Resources, and Valley Cities Mental Health. It allowed us to support the building of public skilled nursing facility at Wesley Homes and will allow us to continue to find ways to help those most in need. Through the U.S. Conference of Mayors, we've been able to network with other cities on a national level, but more importantly, this organization is paramount in helping us provide services to our returning veterans in Auburn and 3,500 other cities. I know that you're with me on making sure that Auburn continues to be a place where veterans are welcomed and feel at home. This organization ensures that we can access the federal programs and federal funding to create the best programs we can in Auburn for our veterans. National League of Cities is similar to the Association of Washington Cities I spoke about earlier. AWC represents cities in Olympia. NLC represents cities in Washington, D.C. NLC allows us to develop strong working relationships with our federal legislators and their staffs. In those relationships that are key to ensuring national policies that meet our local needs. It was this kind of relationship that helped Patty Murray secure $44 million in funding to fix the damaged Howard Hansen Dam. It helped Auburn earn a $3 million federal economic development grant that we put into rebuilding infrastructure in our downtown. And it is helping us right now as we work on our veteran services programs and increasing safety on our rail lines so that we don't have a major catastrophe in our city if dangerous or flammable cargo passes through Auburn. And on the fun side, we found the Kaboom program through NLC, and since we have been a part of Kaboom, Playful City USA program, the City of Auburn has been the recipient of over $120,000 from Kaboom. And we've been able to build, rebuild, or improve 4 parks so far. All of these things require strong federal support, And I can say right now, I have a lot of confidence in our DC representatives that they know what Auburn needs from them, and they're working for and with us on a daily basis. Does participation in these organizations cost money? Yes, some more than others. But just as you might be involved in a professional organization for your job or pay union dues so you can be represented as an employee, that's exactly how we look at it. Our job as your elected officials is to represent your best interests, and that means we need to be actively involved at all levels. We don't join or participate in these organizations because we might get a nice lunch at a banquet or take trips to other cities so we can have some fun. We're involved to do the work for you and for our city. In fact, your 7 city council members are at this very minute reviewing each and every organization that we are a member of and examining the benefits to Auburn. And when they find that our membership is not worth it for you, we will cease our membership so that we can focus only the organizations that are best for Auburn, our city, and your interests.